Hi, everybody, and hi, my wonderful, precious sister and co-host, Corinne Mooney, all the way from Arizona, and myself, Anne, from Stockholm, and we have a cold winter here.
And we're running around in bathing suits. So,
Okay, okay, how wonderful! Can we change?
uh,
That would be the day, wouldn't it? So, welcome everybody to Cosmic Sis-Stars Show with Anne and Corinne. And we are going to open a luminous doorway into letting go with grace, a journey into unlearning. This episode invites you to soften the grip of old stories, loosen the threads of inherited patterns, and step into the quiet freedom that comes when we release what no longer aligns. Through heartfelt sharing and soulful reflection, we explore how unlearning becomes a path back to our truest selves. So join us in this gentle, transformative space where surrender becomes strength and letting go becomes an act of deep inner liberation. Today, we have Wednesday, February 11th in US and Europe, and our future in Australia is February 12th. And we talk about letting go with grace, a journey into unlearning. So, our last show on Cosmic Sisters was last Wednesday, February 4th, and we had a special guest all the way from Stockholm, close to me, Jonathan, and we talked about meditation and spirituality, and that was a really good show. So, if you missed any show, you can find all our shows at youtube.com/ at Cosmic Guardians 111 / streams, and also at youtube.com/ at Angel Place on Earth / streams, and not enough, right? And angelplaceonearth.com / upcoming - past. So there you go. There you have all. You can pick and choose wherever you feel more comfortable, right?
mhm.
So, how about diving straight into today's show?
Ah, what a great topic. Grace is the gift of God's, and it's a place where the soul can rest, rejoice, and rise again. When we allow grace to become part of our healing, part of our personal journey, and moving into a trust with our authentic self, we bring a sweetness to the challenges of life. With this, intuition will guide us, and it makes it more easy for us to move into what we need to and release what does not fit. What no longer serves us, it is something that has control over us. And when we really release it and with grace, we allow ourselves to move into this beautiful new sacred place.
Yes, we do. You know, many times holding on to things becomes way heavier than releasing them, right? So, when we are holding on to many things, with life, with maturing, growing older, everything of that nature. It doesn't matter if you're 10 years old or you're 50, we still sometimes kind of collect things for ourselves, putting
Yes.
it in the backpack. And like you so beautifully have expressed before, the method you have sharing with your clients when they come to you, because it
Mhm.
can be really, really, really heavy, right?
Yes. Yes. And when I make it obvious, I found this beautiful little backpack, and it's pretty. It's shiny and oh, hold me and everything else. And I asked them to pick it up and hold it while we're talking. And they go, "Oh, this is heavy." And I said, "Yes." it is filled with all of your fears, your doubts, your shoulds, your couldn'ts, your guilt. And that's what it feels like when you're walking around with it. You're carrying this constantly. And hopefully, you're going to reach in that bag and you're going to take, oh, I don't need to be guilty about that. I don't need to be fearful about that. And then it becomes lighter.
Yeah. You know, one could say that it comes a moment for each and every one of us when the familiar no longer nourishes, when
Exactly.
the old stories no longer fit, and when the patterns that once protected us begin to restrict our expansion, when we can't move forward because we are carrying in all this weight, right?
Hmm.
Like you said, it can be inherited things, uh, beliefs that we think are ours, but when we have a deep look at them, they don't really belong to us. It's something we learned, right?
Yes.
Or experiences we have been going through, and also experiences that are happening in the now sometimes, because there are many things in our lives that we cannot control.
Exactly.
And many human beings want to hold on to control because it's a way of feeling a little bit safe in a crazy world sometimes.
Yes.
But if we are, for instance, if we lose a dear member of our family or a dear friend or someone we love, what are we going to do then, right? If we hold on to grief, it's normal to grieve for a certain amount of time, and we are still probably going to cry when we do remember, but we can't really move forward either because even if it sounds like a cliche, life does go on, right?
Hmm.
Does, does,
Yes.
does that make sense?
It does make sense. And we grow up identifying ourselves with those concepts. So, yes, when we take those away, it makes us look at ourselves in a different perspective. And humans, amazingly, are the only species that will hold on to the past as if it's a badge of honor. Other species don't do that. Well, with the exception of the dung beetle. And I love the dung beetle. The beetle has this tendency that when it eliminates, it takes that elimination and puts it on its back. And then all through its life, it's putting its past onto its back until it finally crushes it. And but other species, like a snake, when it grows, it literally pops out of its skin and sheds its skin. And there
Yeah.
again, that beautiful butterfly. The butterfly completely dissolves, eliminating everything that was a caterpillar so it can become a butterfly. And how how can grace be more exemplified than that expression of completely letting it go and moving into this new space?
Yeah. And the thing is, when we are occupied with things that really not align with us, right? There's no room for new things to enter either because we are occupied or we have all these thought patterns that are preventing us from seeing things in a different perspective or a different light or a new way, right?
Yes.
So one could say that we have more easy to become narrow-minded and put up blinds here because when we walk through life, of course, we're going to come from our experiences because that is the only thing we basically know on a
Hmm.
conscious level as a human being. But we need to expand beyond that and releasing things from the past and unlearning. That's also a very intriguing word for me. It's wonderful.
Yes.
And we need to go within. What is it I need to unlearn? If I encounter a challenge, for instance, I'm going through something and I get myself stuck, then I have to go within and try to figure out, and I'm not going to figure that out within 15 minutes. That's not how that works, right?
No.
Neither a day or a week. Sometimes we can get these flashes of insights that are going to bring us immediately forward, but usually with ingrown and old patterns and behaviors and inherited beliefs, it's going to take a while, but it's an exciting journey, right?
Yes. I mean, even Einstein said that trying to solve a problem the same way over and over and over is going to result in the same results.
Yes,
And the thing is that it's like in Groundhog Day, you keep doing the same pattern over and over. You step in the same water hole until you realize that, oh, well, the next time I'll go around that bit of water. And and this is the process of unlearning or surrendering and letting that go away. Uh, I'm sure there are many times when, um, as we grow as children, we outgrow our clothes, and to try to fit into something that we wore when we were 3 year old is just not going to be logical. And yet, because you like that pattern, you kind of hang on to it and everything else. Well, maybe I can squeeze into it. And we do not allow ourselves to have the opportunity to see the new perspectives. And it's a birth process. Even our birth coming into this world, there
yeah,
was pain, there was excitement, there was anticipation, all of these things. Unfortunately, when we're being born, we don't have the prejudice of, oh, well, I shouldn't go down that dark place. Oh, well, what if the light blinds me? We didn't have those fears. We just burst into this new life and began our experience. And when we let go of the things that are not working, and they worked to get us where we are, they're
yeah,
just no longer, they don't fit anymore. And it's okay to just bless them and let them go.
exactly. And it's not a failure.
Not
It's
at
not
all.
to be considered a failure because I can say something else that's interesting. A lot of people, when we come to tarot cards, they fear the death card
Oh,
and the tower.
yeah.
But you can see things in many different perspectives. In order for anyone to move forward and change something, something has to go, meaning something has to die or fall apart, like the
Hmm.
tower, right?
Yes.
So, as we are talking here, if we are holding on to, I want to change, but I don't want to do anything to make that change happen because I'm afraid I'm going to lose my control for a bit. Well, like you said, if we are not willing to make changes, nothing is going to change. And not every change is going to be a big change. Sometimes it's our perception,
Yes.
seeing things from a different angle. Like you said, instead of walking into that water again and again and again and again, why not take another route, go around it
Exactly.
instead?
And I think one of the things that it showed in that show was to start becoming aware, and just not going blah, 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 and once you start becoming aware and start trusting your higher self, um, you're able to understand that by making those subtle changes and allowing the things that no longer fit. And I like that expression, because when you think of it like putting something on, this does not, it confines me. It doesn't allow me to breathe. When you think of it that way, it's not like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to really make a change. And it's like everything is change. Uh, I especially like this time of year because the leaves on our trees do not fall until the middle of January, because it doesn't get cold enough. I mean, a few of them fall, but they don't all of them come off. And by the 15th of January, there's already new buds on the tree. It's like saying, scoot over. I need to have room to grow here. And then finally the leaves fall off. And then right now, my tree is almost newly leafed, and it's February. So
Wow.
it's it's okay to allow that regrowth. And
Yeah. In our world, most things have cycles. Nature has cycles. Women have cycles.
mhm,
Um, Probably men too, but it's not something that we pay so much attention to.
they do.
Everything goes around and has cycles.
Yes.
And that's kind of interesting. It means also that letting go with grace is not about abandoning what once mattered. It is about honoring what has served you, its purpose until this time, and allowing space for what wishes anyone has to emerge, or
Yes.
creating something new, manifesting something new, and having the patience also, not being impatient and saying, I'm going to do, and then I'm going to have it served. No, it doesn't
Exactly.
function like that.
I mean, if I had stubbornly said, my knee, I'm going to just hang on to that knee. I don't care how much pain it gives me. It's my knee and I'm going to hang on to it. But no, I said, I surrender that and I welcome a new knee. And I'm glad, because now I can do what I need to do. And can you imagine if a mother said, I'm going to stay pregnant. I'm not going to let go of this baby because I'm going to, and having gone through that process, both of us, uh, we know that in order to heal and move on, we do have to let go. And
Yes.
that's just, it's not bad, and it's not punishment. It's
No.
that beautiful cycle, as you were saying.
Yeah, it is. And everybody goes through challenges in life, right? And we are no exception at all. No spiritual person living on this earth is ever an exception. No one.
No,
No.
no,
And
this,
what we can do is, our power is, how do I respond to what's happening to me? Things that I can't manage them with my hands. I can't be hands on fixing them, or I can't expect them to happen for me, right? How do I respond to those things?
mhm,
That is a part of releasing with grace and unlearning, right? To,
yes,
to try a new way, because it the fact is, on this earth, and we didn't read, by the way, the fine text in the contract when we came, did we? I'm just kidding.
no, no,
No.
yes,
So, you know, we have our response, and there's a strength in that, because we own our own power. And when I own my own power, that is also a way of loving oneself. I
yes,
accept it. I remember someone else who broke the leg and said, I have no time for this. But what is one going to do, right?
Let's take the time. Take the time. And it's amazing because as an infant, we're constantly changing, drastically changing. And there is no conscious, oh, I'm not going to do this. It's where can I go from here? What else is out there? And somehow there's a shift when we find something that we identify with, and oh, I won the spelling bees, and I'm just going to hang in there and say that I won the spelling bee, rather than understanding that winning the spelling bee, you could be an author, you could be this, and looking beyond, and somehow we lose that childlike enthusiasm of seeing what is next, and
Yes.
hang on to what we think is how people see us. And it's interesting. Last night, during after meditation, we were talking, and I had mentioned, was there any magical thing on my computer that I could do to kind of freshen up the face a little bit? And one of my illustrious students said, "But you look the way you do, so people can recognize you." And I said, "Oh, well, I need to rethink that." But this is partially true. We come in with a certain identity, so that energetically and physically we can find the people that we're supposed to kind of hang with. But I thought, I'm still going to look for the magic button on my computer. But anyway.
The art of unlearning also. So unlearning is not the opposite of learning. So
No.
unlearning something means that you still learn it in a new manner, right?
That's right.
And it is refinement, right? It is the process of clearing away the layers that obscure our inner clarity, that doesn't fit, like you said. I wouldn't be able to fit into my clothes when I was 3 years old, would I?
I don't think so.
And neither would I want to wear the clothes I had 20 years ago, because I'm a different version of ourselves. And to be honest with you, we are always transforming anyway. It's a part of the process. So we are not the same people. I think we touched on this last week
Yes.
when we had Jonathan on. We are not the same versions of ourselves we were 1 hour ago.
Exactly. And I know that um, all of the learning that I did, the mistakes that I made, that I consider mistakes, the the things that I really don't need to revisit again. I know that 2 years ago I completely became a totally different version of myself, and let go of so many things that didn't serve. And now seeing myself and the way that I think and the way that I do things, it doesn't relate to what I did even now a year ago. So
Yes.
I'm in that evolution, uh, and letting go and unlearning those things that don't serve. It allows your potential to come to the surface.
Yeah. And also touching on, we spend much of our lives gathering knowledge, experiences, and roles, things that we feel are anchored somehow in a physical life, right?
Hmm.
But yet the soul evolves not through accumulation, but through liberation.
Say that again. That was beautiful.
The soul evolves not through accumulation, but through liberation.
That is beautiful. That is really the whole essence of the process. And we spend most of our life assimilating and packing ourselves with information, and then like cleaning out the closet, we have to go through and say, okay, I'll keep that assumption, I'll let go of that one, and that's how we then find ourselves. But that journey begins with that little urging that says, not that you're not good enough, but there's something more that I want to find out about myself. So it's not, gee, this is bad, I'm going to change it. It's, wow, what is out there that is going to inspire me? And finding that self-love, and then
Yeah.
moving into self-mastery and becoming authentic. Those take the blinders off and allow you to have not tunnel vision, but you know
Open vision, helicopter perspective, right?
180-degree vision. Yes.
So, unlearning invites us to return to our natural state of openness, being open minded, open for things,
Yes.
right? If I state, okay, I know all of that stuff, but I don't want to do that. I want everything to change. What's
That's
going
right.
to happen for me then? Nothing.
I think you're going to just keep getting wet every time you step in that pothole full of water. And you're going to stay in the same relationship, banging your head against the wall, going, he needs to change, they need to change, the world needs to change. And as we have found out, the light finally goes on and says, wait a minute, the change that I expect is the change that I must become.
Yeah.
It's like
Um,
we've had these monks that have been walking 3,000 miles from Texas all the way to Washington, just a peaceful walk. And the journey and the souls that have been touched, and it's not carrying signs, you need peace, we're fighting against unpeace, we need, no, it's just being peaceful and having that expression. And there is such a difference in that gentle surrender, and then the action
yes.
of allowing it to happen.
Wow. I want to go back to that, which I said, unlearning invites us to return to our natural state of openness, right? So
Exactly.
it invites us to question what we have accepted without reflection. It invites us to release the need to control outcomes and instead trust the intelligence of our own unfolding, releasing the urge to want to be in control of everything, stepping into the flow, because in reality, also, we cannot control everything. It's not in our hands.
No, I mean, it in a way it's absolutely ludicrous, because um, having seen the way that Homo sapiens kind of wander around trying to do things, and they can't even even work out relationships and work out these things. How in the world would you be able to control the sun coming up and the sun setting, and the rain? And I'm yes.
Yeah. And something else, when we come into the beautiful thing of surrender, that is very often misunderstood as weakness. It's not
Exactly.
weakness. In truth, it's one of the most powerful acts of alignment. right?
It is.
Doesn't mean we surrender and give up. That's a different thing. We just surrender and open up, stepping into the flow and being willing to follow things. So, for instance, because I work with people and they call in and they ask questions, right? Psychic advisor or tarot reader or intuitive advisor, I would prefer to say intuitive advisor.
Yes.
Um, and you do something of the same, but you don't use the cards, I think. Um, but it's like, you know, we create our future from this very moment. We cannot have control of every other aspect that's going to be from others coming in to our lives, right? It's not something we can manage at all because it's their free will. So that is a part of also surrendering. So I go one step at a time and I see, feel, and try to sense where I'm at. If I don't like where I'm at, then I understand that I need to correct my path a little bit in one way or another, right?
Hmm.
Makes sense?
It does. And it's surrender is the gentle letting go. And it's okay to let go. And when you do, the letting go allows the flow.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's when you're resisting, and when someone says, uh, "I'm going to fight against cancer," that that's resistance. That's going up against. How about saying, "I allow the cancer to dissolve"?
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and I'm going to allow the situation to dissolve. I'm not going to fight for peace. I am going to be peaceful.
Yes. Exactly. Because we also radiate what we are. So
Exactly.
if I'm stepping into the warrior mode, fighting, or being in resistance, that's going to keep me where I am without moving forward at all,
And
right?
and as we were talking about cycles, it keeps you in that loop and that cyclical uh, victim mode, and constantly in stress, and then the stress causes dis-ease, and the dis-ease causes anger, and stepping
Yeah.
off of that treadmill into I saw this little kitty cat, and it's laying in all of the flowers, and it says, "I choose to be peaceful."
How beautiful, you know.
And I thought, everybody, we have that choice.
Yeah, we have, you know.
That that doesn't mean that we don't have emotions. I definitely got very emotional when my computer was not functioning today, because I have computer phobia here, and when it doesn't function, I'm going, ah. But that is a human expression.
Yeah. And it's
However,
okay.
I'm not going to let it control me. I'm going to say, okay, I lost it for a couple of minutes, and that's okay, because I was frustrated. However, letting it go,
Yeah.
surrendering, and
Surrendering.
you know,
You know, letting go is not always also about people or situations.
no,
Very often, it is about releasing the inner structures that limit our own expansion. We
exactly.
release, for instance, the belief that we must always be strong. Um, Another example, we release the fear of disappointing others. We
Yep.
release the need to be understood. We release the pressure to meet expectations that were never ours to carry, right? So we release the versions of ourselves that were shaped by survival or inheritance or learning that we have been taught rather than authenticity. We
Mhm.
release the habits that once kept us safe but now keep us small. We release the stories that tell us we are not enough because we are. We release the attachments that bind us to the past. There are layers to releasing things
Yep.
and surrendering.
Yes, and and from my experience, it's not like all of a sudden you go into a car wash and everything has disappeared. You know,
No,
there are layers and layers, and even when you think that you have uh, released everything that is, pertinent to your moving on, all of a sudden something jumps up and you go, okay, I didn't see that one. Where did that come from?
yeah.
But
And
not
sorry, go
going
ahead.
into no, not going into the fear of I can't do it, just saying, okay, this is one more little thing that I can take that heaviness off my body and out of my mind.
Exactly. And every time we release something, it creates space.
Yes.
Space for clarity, space for healing, space for new frequencies to enter, space for the soul to breathe,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And unlearning and releasing and all of these surrendering requires sometimes stillness in the process too. So we need to hear, who am I?
Yes.
What do I really want? If I get rid of all those others' assumptions of me, others' ideas, opinions of me, what is expected of me, what I say to myself I had to do and live up to.
Yeah.
Who am I?
That's right. Who am you? Who am you? And uh when we begin that letting go, we can begin to see our authenticity. We begin to feel a different vibration. We become inspired because we are no longer closing everything out of our realm of understanding. And it's a process. It's a beautiful process. And it will go on until we make our transition. And
Yeah,
that's what's beautiful because I have no idea. Oh, I do have a little bit of an idea, a glimmer of where the potential is sending me, but it's the journey.
it is a journey, you know. And I had a story with a client a couple of years ago now, I think. She asked about love, like everybody's asking about, right? When am I going to meet someone that I feel in alignment with and we can create something wonderful for the future? And I actually saw someone for her and I said, you're going to meet someone. I feel his energy and I presented it. I don't remember now what I said. But I also said to her, he's going to be very different from your type. So I'm not going to tell you what to do. That's up to you. But please at least give him a chance to reveal himself to you because he has all those qualities that you are looking for.
Yes.
And they did create a relationship. They were so happy. Isn't
Yes.
that fantastic? But she called me again after a couple of months and she said, you were right. And I have been a little bit, awkward because he's not my type. But
Yes.
I really feel for him. I have strong feelings for him, and I can see. that his qualities and who he really is a match made in heaven for me.
And there is that magic. She was able to see him,
Yes,
not
yes,
the coverings and not the what was being presented, but she saw him. And when we start seeing really and seeing more than what is presented in this outward form, and there again being quiet enough to listen on another level,
yeah,
that wow, so many amazing things can happen.
yeah.
That's very true.
Wonderful things can happen. And you know, there's something else as well. You could say that what we're talking about today, releasing and surrendering and all those good things. When we, no, I want to rephrase that. We can say that it's also some sort of transformation, right? So we are transforming into something else. When we release, we are automatically transformed because we leave things behind us, right?
Mhm.
Beliefs, thoughts, patterns we had. But expansion, on another note, doesn't
Well,
always arrive at once. Sometimes there is a pause, a sacred in between where the old has dissolved, but the new has not yet taken form, right?
exactly. Yeah. And that that is something that really should be remembered, that just because it doesn't automatically appear the minute that you say, okay, now I've really done my homework, because as you're doing your transformation, the environment and people are making transformations, and
Yeah,
maybe it takes a little longer for it all to come where it becomes something that you are very aware of. And there, that
exactly.
the divine patience, you know.
Exactly. And we have a tendency as human beings, and I'm generalizing, I know, but we have a tendency to think of our own timing. But if other people are involved, how about their timing
Exactly.
and the world's timing? You know, there are many things that we need to consider.
It seems to me we did something about divine timing one time on one of these shows we did.
We did, we did.
And that is true, that uh, and being patience, and I loved it because I used to say that, God, I want patience and I want it right now.
Exactly. And by the way, you know, even releasing and surrendering and transforming comes in cycles. You could say in cycles, like seasons, right? So we
Yes,
go through something, we become a new version of ourselves, and then some time goes by, and then we come into a new place where we do release again, we surrender again, we transform again. So it's an ongoing thing. It's not going to be like I was this and yesterday, and tomorrow I'm going to be totally different. No.
yes. And we see this in nature. We see this all around us. We see this as we grow, and yet we demand that, well, if I did the homework, I should be able to pass that and get on with the rest of my life. However, there may be more. We've released part of it, but that is just allowing for the rest of the transformation to come in. And yes, things could be made instantly in some realms, However, in this physical realm, time is a factor.
It is. It is. Absolutely. And, but each and every cycle of release brings us closer to our essence. Each
Yes.
moment of surrender strengthens our trust because we see changes, right?
Yes.
Each act of unlearning reveals a deeper layer of our soul. And, starting this journey, it doesn't take a long time to be curious. Who am I?
Yes.
Where am I heading? Right?
Exactly. And I want to acknowledge that in this time of reawakening, more and more and more people are all of a sudden realizing that the existence that they have in just doing this, gaining that, making this, having that, and just being robotic, they are starting to again say, why am I here? What did
Yeah,
I come to do? And when you start opening those possibilities, the greater essence of what your soul is capable of start coming to the surface. And we are so much more than Homo sapiens just going around and being born, getting married, having children, going to a job, and dying. And then when we see the exceptions, these people that come up with these incredible ideas and revelations, and we go, oh, well, that just happens once in a while. No, it happens all the time. We're just not open to it.
exactly. Exactly. So before we go into the questions,
Oh, there are
the hot
questions.
spot, yeah, but I have a very plain question for you. Plain, I say
Okay.
plain. Okay. So then we go to the simple ones, right?
Oh, the simple ones are coming. Okay.
But how would you express releasing compared or versus releasing with grace?
Oh, releasing is just saying, I'm going to let go of that. I'm going to try and change. I'm going to uh, try and forgive. I'll look into it. Someday it will happen. To me, releasing with the gift of grace is going, oh, I am now releasing this. I am laying down this burden. I am moving into a free space where I have that divine connection. And it's almost like a breath of fresh air. And you
Mm.
can expand your chest and you can feel the air going in. There
Yeah,
there's there's a real difference in the feeling of the thinking about, talking about it, and the actual, okay, I'm doing it.
coming to that place where you really are determined, you're going to do it. You just do
Yes.
it. And you don't feel bad about it. You
No.
feel great because you reach the point
And
when you just release.
it is easy. All of the struggle that you did was the resistance to doing it. When you do it, it's like, ah, like you're standing on a cliff and everybody is saying, go ahead and jump, because everybody's doing it. And you look and you look and you look and you look and go, oh, and then once you do, that freedom of making that dive and the refreshing feel of the water, um, it's so different than the everything that you did to not release. And yes, you do have a feeling when grace is with you. It's blissful. It really is.
It is blissful. Yes. So, are you ready to move into the questions?
Uh, okay. I released
Okay,
all the. I'm ready.
okay, good. So,
The
we always
easy
have,
questions.
yes, we always have five simple and clear questions that flow beautifully with each topic we have. And today we are discussing releasing with grace. So, these questions are also offered to all of you listening and watching as gentle reflections to explore within yourselves. So, here we go. First one. What does letting go mean to you right now?
Right at this moment. There again, it means freedom. It means acknowledging that what I've been carrying is no longer serving me, and I am ready to just let it go and see what the next opportunity is. But freedom, I would
Freedom.
say, freedom.
Beautiful. Which old patterns feel ready to be released?
Ah, I, when you're on this journey, you redevelop a lot of, uh, as you say, you've released patterns, but then new patterns show up that need to be uh, released. And it's like peeling an onion. You peel one back and then you go, oh, well, that's a different version of what I'm trying to do. And letting that happen is there again, making that journey. It's like, let me give it an expression. Okay, you bake a cake. You got to mix everything up. You have to wait for it to cook. And then you have to wait for it to cool. And then you put the first layer of icing on. And then you put the decorations on. And this is what it's like. You clear the path and you start at a new beginning and you watch as it progresses and as it becomes a masterpiece.
Yes.
Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay.
Where, okay, maybe this is a little bit personal, so you let me know. Where in your life are you holding on out of habit rather than truth?
Holding
I
on.
think we all do this sometimes.
Yes, we
But
do.
it's also like you said, because we try to live with this all the time. So when things come up, we just look at them.
It's interesting because I'm in a new situation now, working out some dynamics that I have resolved, but the person that I'm working with hasn't quite resolved those dynamics. So what happens is when they come up in that person's life and then they're represented to me, it's like been there, done that. But then I realize that this is part of that other person's process. And so I'm having to revisit them, but revisit them from a new perspective. Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense.
But
Very much so.
I'm living that right now, and I realize that the person that I was that created the illusion that
Dynamic.
this person
Yeah.
has of me. I mean, that's real. It's real, but having to re-see it from a different perspective, and I'm going, okay, how do we resolve this that there can be that healing? So it is. I gently give this information. It's a process, and nobody is. We don't get out of this without doing the process,
No, we
and
don't. No.
it's. However, the more that you have in the truthfulness with yourself, the process is a lot easier, and it's a lot clearer. and it doesn't get uh, misconstrued the umpteenth time that you do it.
Exactly.
Ah, yes.
Ha- Habits, many people are acting out of habits, but I think also one wonderful benefit of walking this path is that we actually started for a long time ago to watch things, be aware of things, and not just letting things, well, I'm used to doing this, I'm going to continue,
Yep.
um, with everything in that sense, or whatever it is. But we are much more open, and that gives many more perspectives, right? So I like to say, instead of saying, I try to see a helicopter perspective, I take a step back and I observe, and then that gives me
Yes.
where I'm going to head,
Yeah.
my next step, right?
And I had the uh, I had the experience of living with my husband, who would say, "That's who I am, and that's all I'm ever going to be, and that's the way it is."
Thank you.
you know. However, in his elderly years now, he has mellowed, but it was a challenge living with that kind of a you know uh,
And in our human world, that is considered a person with a lot of integrity.
yeah.
But is that really integrity?
No,
No.
no, that is, I'm going to be in control, and I'm going to do it my way, and there's the highway if you choose. So yeah.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
everything that happened in my life uh, was there to allow me to become who I am now. And if I changed things along the way, then I would be presenting myself as a different person now. So I kind of like me now. I've
Yeah.
been working on it for quite a while. And so I bless the past, I let go of it. And if it rears its head, as I said before, uh, having having a new situation now where is requiring me to move a little deeper into these things, so be it. But I'm so much more equipped now to be able to handle it with discernment, with unconditional love, without any guilt, blame, and everything else. And from that helicopter view of being the observant and see, well, if I tweak this that's completely out of the picture, that's going to put a different view on things. And
Yeah.
hopefully that's where our journey takes us, is to be able to get to that um, ability to, if it reappears, say,
Yeah,
okay, we'll try this.
exactly. And the blessing also is going through experiences, happy experiences, challenging experiences, which many had quite a lot actually, but they are blessings in
Yes.
disguise because we wouldn't be shaped and become the versions which we are at this very moment if we hadn't gone through them, because we wouldn't have pondered about it.
No.
No,
No. and
no.
and we would have given up, and we would have just become stagnant, and in the same, I'm this way, I'm going to be this way, I'm going to die this way, and and God love them, they sometimes do die that way.
Yeah. So, what would feel lighter if you allowed yourself to unlearn it? I know these questions are hard for you because not because you don't know how to answer them, because you live with them every day, right? So,
Yes. So, you know, okay, I'm going to
ah,
I'm going to give that one back to you.
What would feel lighter? I'm also like Korean, like, right? I live with this. It becomes a way of living in your life.
Yes.
So whenever I encounter something that feels, oh, this feels heavy, this feels something, it triggers something within me. What does it trigger within me? I thought I released that, didn't I? Right? So I try to understand it, and because it had, if I encounter something that had triggered me, that shows me I haven't released it fully. That's
Yeah.
a key, right?
Uh-huh.
So memories are always going to be present. We don't lose our memories of things, and there's a difference, right? But
Yep.
when you remember things, and I know that I unlearned something and I surrendered to something and I released it when it's not longer affecting my life. It's not stopping me any longer, right?
Yes.
And I can remember without getting over the top emotional, except for laughing sometimes, right? But that's the, when we come to the place where we can experience things that used to trigger us and we just laugh about it, sometimes like an outrage of laughter,
Yep.
um, it becomes a blessing, to be
Yes.
honest.
Or when you look at the situation and go, how many times have I laughed watching television when a person's going through that kind of a situation? And and I'm going, it is when you look at it, it's pretty, well, not everything, but some things are very comical, because how could they make all of these shows and movies that invoke emotion if we, as these emotional beings, somebody somewhere didn't have those situations happen? And there's many times in my life when something happens, and after it's over, and I go, boy, I wish somebody had filmed that. Nobody would believe it. I mean, that was, you know, it's,
That was special.
that was special. I could have gotten an Oscar for that. Um, and that's kind of how I have adapted my life too. Is I don't go and start beating myself up. Now, I guarantee you, many years, I would go into that. Um, this proves I'm unworthy. This proves that I am worthless. This proves that I'm unloved. This proves, and I did. That was, I had to go through that journey like everyone else. But now that I'm on this side, when I have those things remind me, and I go, okay, I have a whole set of new tools to be able to handle this.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah,
it's
life
beautiful.
is just a beautiful. It is. I'm
Yeah, and we get a little bit for a few minutes sometimes, when you do this and you say, "Oh no, not again,"
ah, very much
and
so.
then maybe some worse words.
Oh
Uh,
yes,
yeah, sometimes. But that's also, it's okay. We are human beings. We are souls having a human experience. We have
exactly.
all these reactions and stuff we do. It's okay. But we're not supposed to get stuck in them, because that's when they are becoming a brick in our backpack.
Yep.
And that's when they are wearing us down. That's the difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's amazing, um, what I have personally experienced, and I see a lot with people, especially women. We tend to put on pounds, body pounds, to protect us from what's going on. And I've had that situation. And then when I realized that something divine changed in me. There was a switch that changed and says, I no longer need that. My eating habits, not because of a diet, not because I'm going to, not because I'm sick, something switched in my energy field, and it is slowly just letting go of the extra poundage. And it's not a conscious act. It was something that happened energetically, and I would love to remember what it was so I could patent it. I'd be a bazillionaire. But we do protect ourselves in many ways. We protect ourselves by getting sick. We protect ourselves by getting heavy. We protect ourselves by failing a test. These are ways that we protect ourselves. And when you start letting go and being free, you no longer need those things.
No, you don't. You
And
don't need the shield.
and that was just an observant. That was something that's just been happening in the last 6 months, and that's the first time that I've verbalized it. And
Fantastic.
that is what is transpiring.
Yeah.
So you know.
Beautiful. Last question.
Oh, there's
How
one
does
more.
yeah? How does
Okay.
how does grace show up when you choose to surrender?
Oh, how does grace show up? Me personally, I know grace is wrapping itself around me when I am going through a challenge and there is that aha moment, that moment of peace. Um, it's a sensation more than I am doing this. Look at me. I have grace with me. I am, being blessed. That those are all just words. But when I know that I have that divine love around me, it's a feeling. It's like, "Oh, I can do this. I can get through this. Um, I am that I am, and I
Yes.
will, I will be forever."
Perfect.
Wow.
Uh, that's beautiful. Um, what do you say? Is there anything else we want to touch, or are we ready to wrap it up?
Always ready. However, yes, I am waiting for your wonderful affirmation and all these beautiful things that you write. So, and I'm going to let you this time because you've kind of warmed up my seat here. So I'm going to cool off for a minute.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you can find upcoming and past episodes at youtube.com/ at Cosmic Guardians 111 / streams and youtube.com/ at Angel Place on Earth / streams and angelplaceonearth.com / upcoming dash past. And if you want to connect with Corinne, with me, read our articles, find out other things about us, find Corinne, her phone number, and her website, you can go to angelplaceonearth.com / cosmic guardians. And we have some series we've done. We did the Four Agreements and the Celestial Prophecy last year. You can find our series at angelplaceonearth.com / series cosmic guardians. Our next upcoming show is going to be next Wednesday, February 18th, with Corinne and myself, and we will talk about judgment and self-judgment, relationship to self and others. How about that?
Wow.
After we have letting go, right? Do I still have some stuff that I need to clear, right? Maybe.
That's true.
So we go live for you every Wednesday in US and Europe, and Thursday early morning in Australia. So here's the affirmation for this week. I release what no longer serves me, and I rise with clarity, softness, and trust in my unfolding path.
Wow. Beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. And we say thank you for journeying with us in this gentle exploration of letting go, releasing, and surrendering. May the insights, softness, and spaciousness from this conversation stay with you as you continue unlearning what no longer reflects your truth. Until next time, keep honoring your path, trusting your unfolding, and shining your cosmic sisters light. Bring the light with you.
Yes.
With infinite love, peace, and joy, we see you, we hear you, we honor you, we love you, we appreciate you. And from Cosmic Sisters, Corinne and Anne.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.